Hello Lightworker friends, welcome to my channel. So on today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 tools, 10 steps that you can use in order to reach the fifth dimension. So I'm going to be referring to my notes here that I made because I want to stay clear and stay on track. So let's get right into this video. So the first step that you can use on your road to ascension is forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the best tools that you can use. It's a great place to start the self-healing process. You want to forgive anyone who's done you wrong. You know, you want to forgive anyone who's hurt you in any way. You want to forgive yourself for bad choices, decisions that you made that weren't in your own best interest. You want to forgive yourself for any pain that you've caused anyone in the world, either if it were intentional or not. You want to forgive those actions. You want to forgive your parents, for any harm that they've caused to you. Forgiveness is just a wonderful place to start, because you don't want to walk through the world carrying that unease, because when you don't have forgiveness, you're forgiving for yourself. If someone's done you wrong and it really hurt you deep and it created a wound, as long as you are holding a torch of anger or revenge toward anyone, you're holding negativity in your body, and that negativity does not allow you to vibrate on a higher level. It doesn't allow you to love as greatly as you can. So, forgiveness is tantamount. It's key. It's really huge on the ascension process. It's a great place to start releasing the negativity that you're carrying around in your muscles, the memories that you have. You want to release that and let it all go. It may take a lot of digging, it may take a lot of time, but be willing to put in the work. Be willing to do that so that you can, live lighter, be happier. You can't love the way you want to love. You can't have the kind of relationships you really want to have with people. You can't have the really awesome, great, loving experiences in the world when you're carrying around all this disease and unease, because you just refuse to forgive yourself. You refuse to forgive your circumstances. Forgiveness. You really, really, really want to start with forgiveness. So this is going to move into meditation. So meditation is something we're going to come back to a lot. Meditation is really also important. So step number 2, meditation. And, I talk to people a lot about meditation, and I think it's something that's misunderstood. Meditation is similar to prayer, but it's different. Meditation is really taking the time to find peace in your day, to listen to your voice, to take time to separate yourself from the thoughts in your mind, from the judgments, from the belief systems. It's about finding that happy place and listening. Prayer is often a time where we're asking for something, or there's an intention, there's an objective, there's an agenda. And with meditation, the only agenda is really to receive. It's to connect to your higher self. It's to connect to Mother Earth, to Gaia. It's to be open to the spirit and energy of humanity, but our higher humanity, if you will. And I don't ever really hear anyone talking about this specific type of manifestation. This specific type of meditation, but walking meditation. There's a beautiful book that I came across. I'm going to do some searching and see if I can find the title, but it's by Thich Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk, and he had a book that I loved, and in it he talks about, one of the chapters is walking meditation. Walking meditation is learning how to be mindful throughout the day, throughout the mundane tasks that we have, be it washing the dishes, driving down the street, walking, to work, taking a bath. It's about being mindful for each step. I love this technique. You can have mindful meditation while you're eating a meal. It's about taking deep breaths in and out. It's about taking enough time to witness yourself lifting your fork or spoon, putting that food in your mouth, tasting it, savoring it, and just being mindful and grateful of the experience that you're having in the moment as a human being. It brings you to the center. It takes your mind off of the relentless chatter that can be happening inside your mind, and it steals you and it brings you to the now. In the book, one of the scenarios that he talks about is washing the dishes, and that really related to me because growing up, it was on my sister and I to wash the dishes, and so we had a whole routine, and I really learned to love washing the dishes because I'd get so into it for some reason. It's taking the time to be mindful for picking up the dirty dish, running it under the water, sudsing it up, cleaning the food off, and taking your time. Because if anyone who is out there, I mean, now we live in such an automated society, everyone has a dishwasher. But when you take how do I want to say this? When you are mindful of the time it takes, you recognize if you do it quickly, you don't do a good job. So you've got to take your time and be thorough. And so that's what mindful walking meditation is. Walking meditation. I used to do it. I really started this practice when I used to live in Manhattan, and I worked on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, everybody knows Central Park. I worked one block over from Central Park. So every day I'd take the train into the city, I'd get off of the train, and I'd walk through Central Park to my job. And it was beautiful because I got that connection to the earth. I'd always walk off the path because, there's all these winding cemented paths. And I would walk off the path on my way to work and just touch a tree. And it was just something that was natural to me. I was reading this book at the time, but also it wasn't until years later when I didn't have that practice that I realized what a gift that was and how it centered me and just how grounded I was. And the way that showed up in my life was more consistent happiness, more consistent niceness to other people, more consistent loving. I was able to radiate more happiness and just a better positive energy because I took the time to be mindful of my surroundings, live in the now, and ground myself by walking through nature every day. So walking meditation is a beautiful, beautiful practice. So number 3 is diet. So on the road to ascension, on the road of forgiveness, on the road of raising your vibration, diet. It's really important to be mindful of the food that we're putting in our bodies, right? Our bodies are our vehicles. They are our spiritual astronaut vehicles, right? They're our shield. They allow us to harness our higher self, our spirits, in this denser world and to move through space, right? And so many of us are becoming awake to the fact that food is healing, food is energy, but food is also medicine. And so when you're mindful of the things that you put in your body, you become more aware of the output of your body and the way you are able to perform. Maybe 5 or 6 months ago, I became vegan. And it's been a really beautiful experience, and I've learned a lot about my body, what my body can handle and what it cannot. When I'm eating less meat and taking on the flesh of all these other animals, I'm clearer. For those of us who are highly sensitive people, as well as intuitives and emotional intuitives and empaths, we take on the emotions of these animals and the lives that they lived. And a lot of times, especially the more mass marketed packaged foods and meats that we eat, we're taking on negative emotions, and it's hard to shake that. And you have to be mindful of that. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to go vegan. I really believe if you want to ascend, you want your body to be as light as possible. There's so many books out there about, I really believe in the blood type diet by Dr. Adamo. I believe in eating for health. I don't think everybody needs to necessarily eat the same things. And if you are going to consume meat, to consume it as consciously as possible, making sure that these animals lived the best lives possible. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's really important to know what kind of emotion and energy that you're putting into your body. But incorporating all the things, all the bountiful fruits and vegetables that this planet has to offer for us, and I call it God's food, putting that in our body so that we can continue to heal. It's an amazing journey, and you will definitely notice a difference when you move towards a plant-based diet. And for me, plant-based means the majority of the things that you're putting in your body are plant-based. Um, but you can supplement where you need to. I have found that I still need a little bit of meat because I've not been able to um, get all the essential nutrients that I need for my body. I just had some stomach issues. I'm on medicine now, and I want to come off of that medicine because I want to continue to have a plant-based diet because I find myself easier to connect spiritually and psychically to all of the positive energy and messaging that is out there. So being mindful of the foods that you put in your body is really important. So this is going to move us into number 4, exercise. And I wanted to talk about diet before we talked about exercise because, I live in the Midwest. I live in Indiana, and going to the gym is really popular, but people have really poor diets here. So sometimes it's like a moot point. I see people running all the time, and then they're going to the gym, but there's so many people here who are overweight, yet they go to the gym all the time. And it's because we have this, meat and potatoes diet, meat, potatoes, and beer. And, meat, heavy carbs and alcohol just sit on our body, and they do damage. They break down the immune system. And over time, it just negates all the work that you're putting in. We're waking up to the fact that when we get into our 60s, sometimes 50s, even 40s, and on up, all these health issues start to pop up. And a lot of it is related to our lack of exercise as well as our diet. So if you are going to exercise, I really think it's important to be mindful of the food that you're putting in for optimal health and optimal performance. Okay. So number 5 is living in the now. Whew. This is a big one. And I wanted to put living in the now a little bit down further on the list because hopefully when you get to this point, you've learned to forgive so much. And when you forgive, you're no longer living in the past and you're no longer living in the future. Through meditation and taking time to listen to yourself and how you need to heal yourself, you're able to understand that if you're thinking about the future all the time and what ifs and what may be, you're not living in the now. And if you're not living in the now, you're missing out. You're missing out on recognizing coincidences. You're missing out, synchronicities. You're missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on divine, sorry guys, hold on. Okay. You're missing out on divine knowledge. All of us are different, but we are spiritual psychic beings, and divine messaging comes to us through all the clairs, be it, dreams, visions, hearing, sensing, knowing. The cleaner your body is, the more mindful you are and living more mindfully, as well as not dwelling in the past and reliving the past and wallowing in regret, and also not foreshadowing constantly, but living in the now. It allows you to hear more clearly and to see the path that you need to take to manifest your dreams and live your best life and live a life that is of service. Okay, paying attention to your breath is number 6. Paying attention to your breath is a wonderful tool that you can use at any time throughout the day, in a stressful meeting, running late, through meditation, whatever it is that's happening. It's a great way to bring yourself to the now. I started the video with a deep breath. Because when you take time to take deep breaths, and I have asthma, and so I am predisposed to taking shallow breaths. So it's a great way for me to practice endurance and learning endurance and to get my mind centered and living the now. it's just a wonderful tool. And so that's just a little short one, but I wanted to offer you that tool because it's good for your body. When you're breathing deeply, you can speak more clearly. You have time to think. You have time to think before you speak. And also, ooh, this is a really long video. It's good for the circulation. So it's good for your brain. It's good for your body. It's just overall really good for you. So number 7 is mental health. So now we're forgiving, we're practicing forgiveness, we're meditating, we're living in the now. So now it's about what are we doing to aid the process with our mental health? And that's going to go with mental exercise and dexterity. What are you doing to, learn more about yourself? Are you reading? What are you consuming? We consume in our stomachs, we consume in our heart, and we also consume in our brains. And one of the ways that so many of us are addicted, are living with addiction, is through social media. I personally just this past weekend deleted Facebook and Instagram from my phone, as well as Tumblr. And I love Tumblr, but I was checking them constantly. It got to the point, because there's a lot of downtime in my current job. I sell furniture. I'm in the furniture and design business, and if I don't have a client in, if I don't have an order that I'm working on, and I'm sort of in between, if I don't have anything on my agenda, I find myself on social media. And what happens with social media? Social media is not only a distraction, but there's danger in that, because what happens is you're constantly bombarded by negativity and issues that are out of your control. And these topics and unnecessary information worm their way into your psyche and deep into your mind, and you can become consumed with thinking about stuff that just, it's taking up unnecessary time that has nothing to do with your current life if you're living in the now. And that I'm realizing now that I haven't had those things on my phone for just 2 days, the amount of space that I have to be connected to my higher self. This video, for instance, I've been wanting to make this type of video for so long, but I'm always consumed. I'm always on my phone. It sucks up my time. And then when I'm not on it, I'm thinking about the things that I scrolled through, injustices in the world, something that, one of my friends is doing, all this stuff that really has no immediate effect on my life. And, I used to get into arguments with one of my friends about my lack of interest in pop culture and my lack of interest in the news and political topics, because he felt like, you're intelligent, you should have an opinion on these things. But I would argue, if I can't have a direct impact on eradicating or solving these issues, then just sitting around thinking about them for no reason and learning what other people's opinions are, it doesn't offer anything positive to my life. It just is a distraction. So, social media is a big beware for me. If you can take a social media break, I think it's really, really important. It's really good for your mental health. Also for your mental health is, what kind of energies are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have a lot of negative energies at your job? I myself actually have quite a few negative energies at my job. Now that I don't have social media on in my life right now, and I've got time to meditate, I'm sort of, what's the term? I am shored up in a way. My vibration is higher, so the negativity at my job isn't affecting me as much now. It bounces off. But when I am allowing negativity through social media into my being, into my space, into my aura, then it's easier to the negativity around me to come in, because like attracts like. But if I'm filling myself up, filling my cup up with positivity and love and forgiveness, then that negativity has no room for me, because my cup will runneth over with all of these great positive emotions and self-healing. So mental health is really important. So be mindful. Number 8, choose ascension over descension. this is huge. This is really, really, really huge. And this has been a light bulb for me. There's a great saying that if you're not for the cause, you're against the cause. If you are not making a decision, then decisions will be made for you. There is a choice in life. And I think I can speak for myself. A lot of the struggle that I've had, this battle, of light and dark, it's really about, am I going to ascend or am I going to descend? And when you put it in those terms, it's easier to make the choice for ascension. Doing everything that you can to honor yourself, honor your higher self, and to heal yourself and to practice love and forgiveness. And so this is a living in the now practice for me. It is about taking deep breaths and choosing to be my very best in every moment. This is a great plug for the 4 agreements. I'm going to put the 4 agreements down. I can't remember exactly what each one is, but it popped into my mind right now because it's about being impeccable with your word. It's about choosing to be the best you in every moment. That is a way towards choosing ascension over descension. One of the ways that we choose descension over ascension is by gossiping. It's about not honoring our bodies. It's about, and again, everyone's journey is different. My journey is telling me that alcohol is not for me, meat is not for me. You may not be there, but when I make those choices because I want to be down with the group, or I'm hanging out, or I'm stressed, I'm choosing descension, and I have to be conscious about that. You have to live on the journey that is right for you, and when you clear out all the clutter, it's easier to hear what choices to make, and it's easier to listen to what your higher self is telling you. All right, so number 9 is service. We're doing all of this ascension and we're doing all this healing, and what is it all for? It's for the service of humanity. This video that I'm making today is part of service for me. The things that I do for my mom to help her now that she's an older woman is service. Helping my coworkers in whatever ways that I can, either supporting them with the sales that they're doing or just being a good coworker, is service. There are greater ways that we can be of service as well. You can go out and you can help the homeless. You can, if you are working in the healthcare industry, so many different things. You can do service through your job. You can do service through volunteer work in the community. You can do service. Sometimes doing service is just by working on yourself to be a better person, so that there's one more person out there who is vibrating with love and positivity. Being of service is huge, and I believe is what we are all here for. Now, I wanted to put a caution here, and I'm sure many of you who watch my videos are empaths and highly sensitive people, and it's important to know how not to be used by narcissists in your life. This has been a huge lesson for me. Because if someone is using you all up, then sometimes it's as though your service is going, I want to say it's for naught, but it's like canceled out, because you're caught in this battle of negativity with someone who's just using you. So it's important to be mindful of the relationships that you have in your life, and that you are serving in a way that it's helpful, but you're giving your service to people, I don't want to say that are worthy, but that you are worthy of serving, if that makes any sense. And so the last one is love. This is all about love. Love is an action word, and love and practicing love is about how you treat yourself. It's about how you treat the things that you have in your life, your material things. It's about how you treat other people. It's about how you treat the planet. It's about how you treat animals. Practicing love is the summation of this video. And that's it. This is a long video, my longest video in a really long time. I hope this video finds you. I hope this video finds you, and I hope that you find this video useful. These are really simple tools, but they're great tools, and they will absolutely lead to healing in your life. They will lead to ascension in your life. It's about being conscious, being aware, living mindfully, and being kind to yourself and being kind to others. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Love and light, my light worker friends. Mwah. Peace on your journey.